systems because they determine the best genetic strategy to use. Focus on common strategies for genetic improvement, my research efforts, and some policy recommendations and conclusions. Livestock statistics in Nigeria. Born et al. 1994 gave statistics of 84.4 million for chicken, 34.5 million for goat, 22.1 million sheep, 13.9 million cattle, 0.2 million horses, 0.9 million donkeys, 0.09 million camels, 3.5 million pigs, 1.7 million rabbits, 0.5 million guinea pigs, 0.06 million giant rats, and 31 million from other countries, including pigeons, ducks, guinea fowl, and ducks. According to FAO 1996, the Nigerian livestock consists of some 12 million cattle, 12.8 million sheep, goats, 1.3 million pigs, 160 million chicken, 1 million horses, moles, and asses, and 2.02 million camels. But a letter of 2012, citing FAO stats 2007, stated that as of 2005, the Nigerian livestock population has increased to 15.2 million pairs of cattle, 23.0 million of sheep, 28 million of goats, 6.6 million pigs, and 140 million poultry. FDL, Federal Department of Livestock, 2010 gave estimate of 16.43 million cattle, 34.6 million sheep, 55.1 million goats. With this figure, it shows a consistent increase in the livestock population. And in spite of this increase, in livestock population, the average Nigerian still consumes less. That is 17.79 grams per head per day. Yes. DREAM 1992 put this in perspective. And it showed that majority of our livestock are reared in village condition as indicated in Table 1. To be able to meet, that is Table 1, you will see that Table 1, majority of the livestock are reared under the pastoral, followed by the village. Very few are under urban. It therefore means that to be able to meet the protein needs of the populace, livestock productivity has to increase. If you increase the population, we cannot meet. It's not the population that matters, but I think it's the productivity of the animals. And that's the table. So we will now look at livestock production system. Because remember I said it's the production system that will determine the type of strategy that you can use. Based upon, there are so many classifications, but I am taking my classification from this angle. Based upon the degree of integration with crop and its relation to land, livestock production systems can be classified into 3. Grazing systems. These systems are based almost entirely on livestock production, with little or no integration with crops. They are mainly based upon rangeland. Rangeland are grass area, that is savanna area or grassy area that are not planted by man. They are just there naturally. So, and the pastoral system rely more on this type of rangeland. In principle, grazing is an example of the pastoral system. With this method, they can move very far. The animals are not expected to do well because the feed, the energy they would have taken, the food they would have taken that they should have used to fatten up, they are using it to trade from south, from north to south and south to north. Mixed farming system is the other one. Here, crop and livestock production are integrated on the same farm. In this system, the waste derived from one enterprise, that is the crop residue, are used all by the other enterprise, which in turn return its own waste manure back to the first enterprise. And because this system provides opportunity for recycling and organic farming, it is the favorite system most widely practiced in village peri-urban agriculture, especially as rural population pressure increases. The third is the industrial livestock system. This industrial system implies large herd flock sizes, having to deal with the over-concentration of animal in area of high human population density. This industrial system is the other word for it is the commercial system, which we find in urban environment. Within each of these systems, degree of livestock husbandry system can be classified based on three important variables. One, the degree of specialization in animal husbandry, the degree of mobility, and the type of animals. Whatever the management system adopted, it is worthy to know that the following factors also play key roles in management and thus on productivity of the animal. The first one is the genetic potential of the animal. It's often said that our animals here, they are very poor. And because they are poor, better immediate prospect of performance improvement. Gene introduction is only feasible in regions with more favorable environmental conditions and the possibility of implementing a high production intensity to avoid negative genotype environmental interaction. This is very necessary because they were initially people thought, oh, to increase our livestock production is just to import the exotic breeds. Once you bring the exotic breeds here, because of our environment, it's not like their own, they cannot perform like our own. So that is the genotype environment interaction. Some breeds of animals are known to be well adapted to the harsh environmental conditions of the tropics. Gene introduction of such breeds will increase productivity and also ensure their existence in the environment. Breed combination. Breed combination is a two-breed backcross system of crossbreeding, and it is relatively simple procedure of gene infusion. The success depends on the performance level of the imported breed. Depending on the choice of introduced breeds, combining two breeds may also, at the same time, improve maternal performance. This method has been used to develop new breeds. Selection. And selection is very important. No matter, you cannot bring about genetic change without selection. Because with selection, you are trying to bring about a frequency of traits that are of importance to you. And when such traits are brought together, definitely the population is bound to exhibit a higher performance. So selection, simply put, this is the choice of animals that become parents of the next generation. Selection can be natural, also called survival of the fittest, where nature allows animals which are best adapted to the environment to survive and produce the largest number of offspring. The other form of selection is called artificial selection, where animals do not depend on survival of the fittest, but on standards related to an animal's ability to serve human needs. It is this artificial selection that breeders use in animal improvement, using different selection methods and procedures. I will not be able to go through the different methods of selection and procedures. But from information obtained from evaluation of existing stocks on traits or traits of interest, choice is made of animals that become parents of the next generation. According to Adebambo 2003, through the collection of only 10,000 grandparents from the 70 million local chicken available in Nigeria, with a selection of 20 grandparents per great grandparent, 60 parents per grandparent, 70 pullets per parent, and 200 eggs per pullet, will translate to 16.8 billion eggs for cross and pure breed production. With just the adoption of simple selection, so much can be achieved. selection into practice entails collation of data. You must gather your data, assess them by way of statistical analysis and choice based on the phenotypic choice based on the data or phenotypic markers. No wonder Jacob, being knowledgeable in selection of high-performance animals, using phenotypic markers, said to Laban in Good News Bible, Genesis 30:32, "Let me go through all your flock today, and take every black lamb and every spotted or speckled young goat." If you go through that, if you read further, you observe that the animals selected were better performing animals. So with this selection, those animals that are selected, each time you select such animals and you allow them to breed, the productivity of such animals will be better than the entire population. Inbreeding. Inbreeding is a tool for changing the genetic constitution of population. It results from mating between animals. The production of lines for subsequent crossing, utilizing desirable qualities of the line, is one of the major purposes for which inbreeding may be carried out. The improvement of animals through inbreeding is principally for the purpose of fixing animal type by reducing the frequency of heterozygotes. In the beginning of any breed, a certain amount of inbreeding is usually necessary to get the desired breed characteristics. Once the type exists in the breed to the extent that individual members of the breed are easily identifiable by sight as members of that breed, it is advisable to discontinue the inbreeding, or else it will lead to depression. Inbreeding covers mating between full seeds. That if you look at the relationship, this S and D, they have the same father, AB. Those are full seed. Then parent to offspring, half seed. These three are known as close inbreeding, and their inbreeding coefficient is higher than these ones. These are what is called mild inbreeding. The relationship is not that close. Crossbreeding. Crossbreeding is a form of outbreeding that generally refers to the intermating of animals from different established breeds. It is a concept based on utilizing additive and non-additive gene action. This involves crossing of selected stock. However, for any crossing to achieve remarkable results, the evaluation of existing breeding stock must be done in order to determine the best, which could be used to improve the overall population. So, like I said, a selection is very important, because if you cross animals that are no, that does not possess the trait of interest, if you cross them, what you have may be animals that may not be of any economic importance to you, nor to the livestock industry. And if you must move the livestock industry forward, you must select the best before you cross. In this regard, there are studies on the phenotypic characterization of hematological indices, productive and reproductive characteristics, and their relationship with all livestock species in Nigeria, especially in indigenous livestock species within the rainforest and Guinea Savannah ecological zone. Urerwata and Olutogo 1998, Urerwata and Vicocin 2001, Adebambo 2003. In crossbreeding, it is the animal with superior genetic merit that should be used for mating. Many studies have indicated that the crossing of indigenous and European breeds, especially in cattle, gave rise to high heterotic effects. In theory, with crossbreeding, it is possible to make exhaustive use of complementary effects between the different species and breed adapted to the dominant production and market conditions. A detailed account of crossbreeding is given by Cunningham and Sarah in 1987. Some crossbreeding studies were done at Fashion Livestock Farm, University of Ibadan Teaching and Research Farm, NAFRI, and some government ranches stations. The following percentage heterosis were reported: 10 to 25 for age at puberty, 10 to 20 for calving percentages, 5 to 20 for viability, 10 to 20 for pre-weaning growth, 10 to 20 for post-weaning growth, and 25 to 50 for F1 cow productivity, ERICA 1990. An extensive account of effect of e-breeding, effect of crossbreeding both status and both in liquid status was given by Kruger et al. 1973. Individual studies done on effect of crossbreeding gave values which range from 70 to 88.8%. Egbenike 1984, McDowell 1988. The new breed technologies. The new technologies are those technologies that are concerned with useful changes in components of animal development and function, especially as they jointly affect overall biological and economic fitness during the life cycle of the animal. The success of such technologies in domestic animals will rely on three major inputs, namely genetic variability that will be naturally induced or even from interspecies transfer. The naturally induced, that is spontaneous mutation. Wise choice of desired genetic changes, an effective tool for efficient selective breeding and management. The new breeding technologies fall into two categories, and these are the reproductive technologies and molecular genetic technologies. The reproductive technologies aim at attaining high reproductive rate, shorter generation interval, and thus higher rate of genetic changes. The molecular genetic theories have been widely used in developed countries in the improvement of livestock. The successful transfer and adoption of these new technologies will lead to a significant potential genetic improvement in livestock in Nigeria. However, some genetic diversity studies have been initiated in Nigeria. Adebambo et al. 1998, 2000, Adeleke et al. 2011, Okweku et al. 2011, Agaviazo et al. 2012. Mr. Vice Chancellor, sir, I make good to say that through the approval of the UROPC grant to us, we are also carrying out a genome-wide variation of rabbits in our University of Benin with the aim of finding the similarity, differences, similarity, and the phylogenetic relationship. That project is almost at the concluding stage. My contribution towards improving livestock productivity. My research efforts over the past 20 years have been on morphological characterization, their relationship and predicting ability, phenotypic and genetic trends, environmental factors that are of importance, and genetic parameters of the trypan-tolerant beef breed, the endama, in our environment. And more recently, on the modeling of growth and early age manipulation of growth in rabbit for heavier body weight. Body dimension. Animal production is mostly practiced in the traditional incentive system. Productivity of animals from such practice is small. Therefore, the need for concerted effort to exploit every aspect of improving livestock productivity becomes pertinent. One such way is the use of body dimensions of animals, since it can readily be used in evaluating animals during selection. And also, it is easily obtained, inexpensive, and lends itself to widespread applicability. Ororata 1991. Brown et al. 1983 reported that body dimensions and productive productive traits measurement can be used to determine progress of breeding methods or the effect of different rations, since such measurement can have a high degree of objectivity in assessing traits you wish to measure, provided they are taken directly from the animal. Orero 1988, studying body dimensions of Ndama cattle, obtained the results presented in tables 2 and 3. This table 2 is the body dimensions of Ndama calves from birth to 30 months of age. And this for the Ndama body dimension for female calves from birth to 30 months of age. If you look at the coefficient of variation, apart from some outliers at 6 months, you can see that all others are below 10%, which indicates that the obtained values were true reflections of morphology of Ndama calves. It also provided objective morphological dimorphism among Ndama calves from birth to 30 months of age. This is the Ndama calf, what I studied. In a study on pre- and post-weaning phenotypic relationship among linear measurements in Ndama cattle, Orero and Olutogo, 1994, observed positive and highly significant relationship between height and circumference measurement. That's this is the height at middle up to this value. Then the circumference is round and length. So in studying this pre- and post-weaning phenotypic relationship among linear measurements, this suggests that in breeding, while Orero and Olutogo 1994 observed positive and highly significant relationship between height and circumference measurement. This suggests that in describing an animal, a measure of height or circumference will be sufficient, thus removing the rigor of obtaining height, circumference, and length measures that have been the practice. The implication is that selection of animals with high height at middle would have a better frame size at post-weaning age, since the measurement best describes the conformation of an animal in terms of height, length, and circumference. In another study, Orero et al. 2006 used data of some linear measurements of rabbit at weaning and post-weaning ages to quantify rabbit conformation. The variables considered were body weight, shoulder to tail drop, heart guard, hind leg length, thigh guard. The PC1 essentially contrasted rabbit to be bulky at the hind quarters with the high thigh guard value and smaller at the front as indicated by the heart guard value. While PC2 has no defined quantification of the rabbit, the result of the percent cut in relation to live weight and carcass weight of rabbit, as presented in table 5, we'll get to this, showed a dressing percentage of 50.67. The implication of this finding is that selection for large thigh guide could possibly lead to heavier rabbit at sexual maturity. If you select the thigh guides when they are young, it means that at sexual maturity, you are bound to get animals that will be bigger, heavier than others. In another study, information on morphological and sexually related traits were used to predict